Hello, lovely people. I'm so glad that you're joining me today and warm welcome to the Stars of Learning show. And I'm your host, Jyoti Ji. And you know that, right? Each fortnight, I interview the thought leaders in the learning industry who will share their best practices, challenges, solutions, latest trends, and their journey, which will fast track us to engage, enlighten, and empower. So, friends, today's topic is on stress and yoga management. And you might be wondering why this topic, right? And I'm sure you will all agree with me that we live in this modern time and life is full of hassle, deadlines, frustration, demands. And that's applicable even for any gender or any age group, right? For I see many people going through stress, and it's a common place where people stay, and it's become a way of life. And people feel efficient, when they get burned. And yes, stress is not always bad, but when I coach many people, right, I've realized that it is a natural human tendency to respond under pressure or when they face any challenges or sometimes even a dangerous situations, right? You respond appropriately. I want you to consciously think about, forget what happening around you. It's most important to know, understand how you demand and place yourself when you're stressed, right? And when I talk to many people, I also felt that not all are equipped to handle the stress what they go through, and it will impact them, and it may also have a negative impact on their physical being or a mental and a social well-being, right? And that should not be the way of life. And you might have come across this month, yoga has been practiced all over the world, June 21st. And yoga has been an ancient science, especially for India, right? Because it originated from India. And many studies have found that yoga pranayama has been practiced, to manage and deal with stress. And this topic is because of that we celebrated that. And I also learned in Bhagavad Gita saying that, yoga is the journey of the self, through the self to the self. So that's so important that, when you become better at yourself, you can lead the world, simply as that. And what I feel when I do yoga, I do only Surya Namaskar. I feel so lighter, and I feel if we practice this and every day, it's like you're so rejuvenated. You get that kind of a feeling, the kind of a flexibility, and so connected to your body, mind, and soul. It all gets flamed, I can say. Isn't it that amazing feeling when you experience all of this? So, friends, today, I've invited an expert who will talk in length, and her name is Shipra Magon. She's a founder, CEO, and a chief coach of Breath to Live, who is an evangelist in, gender inclusive education or sensitization, empowerment, women empowerment especially, and along with her training consultations related to many key skills she do. She's also an expert in yoga and health management practices for holistic health, and her company, Breathe to Live. The name is fantabulous, right? And it's a platform to explore, learn, and be the best version of self via yogic ways, along with modern scientific, And she has a lot of curated programs based on stress management, physical related, nutrition, and rest related. So friends, I urge you to listen to it attentively, as this podcast is not for anything else but just for you. So to get relief from all the stress, all the chaos what you go through, and move towards a brighter you, more uh, engaged, more rejuvenated. So please do join me to welcome my guest, Shipra. Shipra, once again, a warm welcome to Stars of Learning podcast.
Thank you so much, Jyoti. You've already set the tenor, the mood, and the momentum. And it's absolutely my pleasure to be here. So whenever I get an opportunity to reach out to so many people and transform lives, I believe this is one of the best platforms. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you. Thank you, Shipra. So, I usually begin my podcast with a key question on why. Okay, that's a Simon Sinek golden principle. But today's topic is something, right? We all know why stress. Okay, definitely a poor lifestyle and recent COVID. People are in distress and they're leading such a mechanical life. So as an expert, I want you to throw some light to my people here on what is stress.
Thank you so much, Jyoti. First of all, we'll start with busting a small myth. And you correctly said that not all stress is bad. And you specifically used a beautiful word. You said distress. So I will pick up the thread from there itself. So
Sure.
stress is a simple physiological response of our body. And whenever there are situations of fight, flight, and fear, our
Mm,
body peps us up. It basically releases adrenaline into the bloodstream.
mm.
And what does an adrenaline do? The basic function of adrenaline, which is basically secreted by adrenal glands that are placed right above our kidneys.
Oh.
What do they do? What happens to your body? Your heartbeat goes slightly higher because heart is pumping the blood efficiently and the blood is carrying oxygen. So whenever you are in aggressive mood, or whenever you are in agitated mood, or whenever you're fearful, or whenever you're doing a rigorous activity, or whenever you want to run, you need that extra sense and boost of oxygen. Therefore, heartbeat goes higher and
Mm,
it pumps efficiently. At this point of time, you don't eat food. So therefore, salivation stops. Your mouth goes dry. Now, this
mm,
is a natural body response which stays with you for some period of time, which would say few seconds to few minutes.
mm,
Imagine the same thing happening to you, the hyperactivity stage for hours together and probably days together. This is where
true.
it becomes chronic and it becomes distress. And that is stress.
Mm, mm. So then help me understand, Shipra, what causes these stress? I know you did say fight, light, and fear, but what it actually causes to the human being to behave in that certain ways?
Okay. So now let us try and understand the manifestations of distress. How does it affect us?
Mm,
So primarily, and why do we get stressed? I've already told you when it becomes chronic, it is a distressful situation.
true.
And many of us are unable to come back from that distressful situation to the normal situation. Why? Because there are trigger factors which are in our external environment that do not allow us to go back to our normal self. What
Mm,
are these trigger factors? Now, you also mentioned those trigger factors. These could be extended deadlines, which I have to meet. These
mm,
could be expectations of my professional work, which I have to meet. These could be my own personal expectations from myself, which I have to meet. These
true.
could be expectations by my friends and families, which I have to meet. These could be certain other things which basically do not make me at rest of all the time. They are making me in a hyper way and they're asking me to go, go, go. They are not
Mm,
allowing me to rest.
mm.
Then there's social media. When it's time for me to rest, I don't rest. Why? Now I want to go through and surf through the Twitter, the Facebook, the Instagram. So now I deprive my body of the rest. So when I
Mm,
deprive my body of rest, again your body does not, come back to that normal situation. So
mm,
again it triggers and adds on to your worries. Then when these things happen, since your body has been awake for a long period of time, body demands food, so you start eating food, binging food at all the wrong times. Your
mm,
digestive system should have rested. Poor digestive system is now put to work. So
mm.
now you are eating, and many times you overeat. And whenever you are stressed, when you eat, it makes you feel very good. You feel very happy and satisfied inside.
True.
Then you think, why not have a cup of coffee also? Now, coffee is a neurostimulant. The moment that neurostimulant comes inside your system, it takes away your sleep and rest. And therefore, you feel rejuvenated once again. So, this is a prolonged process. And this results in three important, I would say, disasters at physical level, at mental level, and emotional level. What are physical disasters? You overeat, you become obese. You stop eating, you lose weight. Both the things are not very good for you. Since you are not resting adequately, you've put on weight, you are prone to diabetes, you're prone to high blood pressure, you're prone to thyroid related diseases, women are prone to diseases which are related with their gynecological system and reproductive system. You're prone to migraine and headaches. You may feel nauseous, you may feel vomiting. All these things happen to you. This is at your physical level. What happens at your emotional level? You become irritable. You snap at the smallest of things. You are unable to calm yourself. You are no more a patient or a happy or a jovial person. You're always at the high end. Your volume and pitch is always high. You're always shooting orders. I would say you are literally barking at people. Your patience level goes. This is how it is. Now, coming to the emotional level, when it is too prolonged, you may start feeling very lonely. You may start feeling isolated. You may feel I am good for nothing. You may feel that nobody loves me. You may feel like crying all of a sudden. You may feel like not participating in anything. You may want to be left alone. You may feel the world is not worth living. All these things happen, and this is stress.
And that's why the suicidal rates are so high in India. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you very well narrated about all these three aspects, which is very key thing, Shipra: physical, mental, and emotional. So throw some light, on are there any techniques to manage these stress? You can't get away with it, but at least what are those techniques?
Yes, absolutely. And that is the most pertinent question. First of all, stress, as I said, is not bad. If I divide into two parts, like the first two fingers, I'm taking it out like a kindergarten teacher. So the first one is eustress, and the next one is distress. It is a distress that we are more concerned about. Eustress is a nice thing. It basically motivates you. Come on, you can do it. Well done, shabash. It's like a coach who's motivating you to, push yourself and stretch yourself a bit so that you realize your maximum potential, the best of possibilities. If we don't do that, we will not even stretch ourselves. We will say, okay, I'm comfortable. You will be like a frog in the well. So it is like that. But when it comes to distress, this is where you need to take care of things. Now, as you correctly asked, what can I do? So first of all, let me also tell all our viewers and particularly those who are listening to us, not everybody's perception for a particular situation is same. Lot of stress is perception based. Let me give you an example. If there's an athlete who tends to run on daily basis, if you ask the athlete, would you mind running 2 kilometers? The athlete will say, oh yeah, why not? I'll do it for you. Why not? I'll go and fetch your bag by running for 2 kilometers, which you forgot at the grocery shop. No point. No, don't worry. And if you ask somebody else who doesn't even run for 100 meters, that's a huge cause of stress. Because the person lacks the expertise. So when things are beyond our control, we immediately tend to get into stress. And this is a very important point. I'm again saying, when things are beyond our control, as human beings, we have a tendency to control everything. We have an innate desire to control everything. We want to make things all prim and proper, comfortable for us. The moment things change, situations change, scenario change, we become disturbed. And that's a natural human tendency. So first thing which you need to understand is, do not try and control things which you cannot control. 90% of the stress comes from that particular fact that you are wanting to control things which are not in your control. How? Oh, a year COVID has happened. People are dying. Can you contribute to it? Can you better it? Can you prepare a vaccine? No. Then don't think about it. No, I will think about it. And I will, burn my kidneys and myself out, and I will, become paranoid. So stop thinking about it. And then let me give you another pertinent example. I performed to my best. Still, my boss or my senior or my peer snapped back and me and said, "What horrible kind of task you have done. You're no good. And your performance was not awesome, not up to the mark." Of course, as human beings, we feel bad because we wanted to be appreciated.
Yeah.
We didn't get that kind of appreciation. You had that expectation.
True.
But can you control the words of this person? Can you control how this person is going to respond and react to you? You cannot. Then why are you getting? Because you were expecting. You took the name of Bhagavad Gita. The key core there is this: all the reason of our misery is expectation. Stop and remove that word expectation. Everything becomes aligned. So do not try to do things unnecessarily is my biggest tip to all of you. And if you have an innate urge, no, I will control the solutions and work on it.
Yeah.
That's it. Now coming, what can be practical ways of implementing things to beat stress? If you are already undergoing stress, how do you beat stress? What can you do about it? So there are 3 ways I would like to tell you. One is acceptance oriented, the other is emotion oriented, and the last is action oriented. Acceptance oriented, I just discussed. Accept situations which are not in your control. So I think we have understood about it. Now we have emotion oriented and action oriented. So throw more light on emotion oriented first, because action oriented is slightly the bigger area, and that is something which we all would like to learn more about it. Emotion is aligning our perceptions to certain things. It is like, is the glass half full or half empty? It's everything to do with your perception of things. It is everything to do with your mindset of the things. So how you are viewing things, you can view it either in the positive way or the negative way. So emotion oriented is entirely in your hands. Nobody is going to come and tell you, okay, don't treat it that way, don't think it that way. You need to tell yourself. I'm not saying become totally, that kind of a person who lives in an imaginary world or a utopia. If things are wrong, they are wrong. If things are bad, they are bad. But then you've accepted them that they are bad. And emotion is this: can I do something about it? Or is there some silver lining? Is there some kind of scope of improvement? Now, how will a negative person, things are bad, very bad, nothing can be done, horrible, finished, and I'm also finished. This is where the stress starts.
True.
So emotion oriented is an important approach. And the last is action oriented. So Jyoti, first over to you before I talk more about action oriented and give the real kind of tips to everybody.
So I think you have laid out a foundation on, the stress related and the techniques. And I think these are all our own perception and attitude, which we need to change, bring that change. So you being a yoga and health management expert, Shipra, can we manage stress through yoga? If yes, then how?
Yes. So one of the ways an action-oriented approach is yoga. And there are many things which people can do. What is action-oriented? Action-oriented is like doing something. It's as simple as that. Action means to do something, to perform something. What are those easy steps which you all can do? Each one of us knows those easy steps. We have learned, heard, practiced, experienced them so many number of times. But probably the only issue is we do not do them on daily basis. We are not consistent about it. We do them on a very random basis. So before I come to yoga, let me tell people something which is very, very easy to follow on daily basis. Because there are some people who say, yoga, I will have to get up and do that. And I will definitely come to that as well. So whenever next time you're very,
there is also
very
a
tense,
question, am I really fit to do yoga? There is also a question.
Yes, I'll answer that also. That's a very, very important question. I agree. I totally agree. So first I will address acute stress. Now let me explain what is acute stress, because I was speaking chronic stress. So there will be some people, no, I do not have chronic stress, I have acute. What do we mean by acute? There's a certain situation which causes me to be stressed for 2 or 3 days, or maybe 2 or 5 or 6 or 8 hours. And once that particular thing is sorted, I'm stress free. There are people who have, only this kind of a stress, acute kind of stress happening on pockets, on daily basis or maybe weekly basis. So what do you do in acute stress? Acute stress is causing you headache, some kind of palpitation, some kind of, a sense of loneliness, or you want to cry your heart out, but you can't call anybody. Unfortunately, you do not have anybody to turn to at that point of time. No friend, no family, nothing. What do? You simply clap. Now, you may be thinking, what kind of nonsense activity is this? No, this is a beautiful activity. Nobody is appreciating me. I appreciate myself. So I clap. But this is not the way I clap, right? I clap like this. And I clap as fast as I can, as hard as I can. And I do this till my arms start paining. And this is basically during 1 minute. When you do this for 1 minute, your body releases another neurochemical known as endorphin. So endorphin is one of the happiness chemicals. It is released in the body only when you do rigorous physical activity. In case you are not, in a mood to run, to play cricket, to jog, to walk, to dance, any physical activity, you're simply in no mood. At least you can do this. Now I will have people know I don't want to clap for myself. Koi baat nahi. You take a glass of water, right? And how do you drink that glass of water? Let me give you a small demo so that everybody understands. I'm talking of all practical tips, because if there is anybody, no, I can't do this, and I've got another one for you. Okay, you can do this. We all drink water. We all want water. I don't think there's anybody who will say, no, I will not drink water. No, please drink water. It's important. So you take a glass of water with me here. Yeah, you're very agitated. You don't know what to do. You're literally quivering and you just don't know what to respond. Take water in your mouth and gulp it slowly. And I'm going to do it live so people can observe. So, okay, take it like this. Mouthful of water, it takes you 15 to 16 seconds to take it down slowly.
Oh, okay.
4 or 5 times, your stress is gone. The moment stress is gone, your mind is free to think about that problem which you are facing right now. You will have better solutions. Clapping brings you out of that bad mood. Drinking water calms you down. That agitation goes away. No, I will not drink water also. Okay, then do a breathing technique. This is not pranayama. This is breathing technique. What is the difference between pranayama and a breathing technique? Pranayama involves you sitting in a particular yogasana. Breathing, you can do sitting anywhere, any type. You can be sitting cross-legged, you can be sitting on a chair, traveling in a bus, in a flight, in your washroom, in your toilet, in your kitchen, lying, standing, anywhere. Food in your stomach, no food in your stomach, doesn't matter. But when we do pranayama, there are certain eligibilities. So in this case, what do? Take a deep breath. So it took me nearly 6 to 7 seconds to fill up my lung capacity. You can see it expanded like anything. And no need to hold. Slowly breathe it out. And you'll see the lung has collapsed. Again, breathe in through your nose only, not from your mouth. Two minutes you do this, totally relaxed. Anger gone, irritation gone, you're relaxed. Simple breathing technique.
Yeah, wonderful ones.
Now coming to yoga. So yoga is primarily for chronic stress now.
Okay.
So if we are now interested in yoga, you had a very important question. Can I do yoga? So
Yeah.
let me elaborate. If you are hypertensive, which means you are a patient of high blood pressure, you are a diabetic, you have kidney issues, you have back issues, then there are some specific asanas which you should not do, but there are certain other asanas which you can do. In
Okay.
yoga, whenever we perform pranayamas, there are 4 classic positions that we, acquire to do certain pranayamas. What are these 4 classic asanas? Let me enumerate. First is sitting cross-legged. We call it Sukh Asana.
Okay.
Simple cross-legged, Sukh Asana. You can't do any asana, do Sukh Asana. Okay. Your body allows you to bend your knees. You can do Ardha Sukh Asana. What is Ardha Sukha Asana? Your one leg is parked on one side, that is on your thigh, and the other leg is on the floor itself. And you can also, look into the videos over the Google or otherwise on the net. The third one, which is very popular, it is basically known as Vajrasana. So Vajrasana, many people know that is known as the kneeling pose, where you're basically, sitting on the heels of your feet. And the last one, which is again very popular, courtesy Baba Ramdev ji, it is known as Padmasana, where your legs are parked on the opposite sides of your thighs. It's slightly difficult, particularly if you do not have the flexibility of your lower limbs of your thighs. It becomes slightly difficult even to do it, and then maybe to sit in that position for a prolonged period of time. So I advise everybody to do Sukhasana, sit cross-legged.
Okay.
Then simply sit on a chair. Sit on a chair. Where should you park your feet? Your feet should be, they should not be hanging, firmly planted on the floor. That's how it is. Then what do you do with your hands? You can do this particular kind of mudra. This particular mudra, this is known as pran mudra. This is energizing mudra, right? What is mudra? Mudra is the play of fingers. Mudra is the play of fingers, right? Why do we call play of fingers? Because these are 5 fingers. They are representing 5 important elements. As we know, there are panch tattva in the body is made of 5 panch tattva. What are these 5 panch tattva? Vayu, we all know, Agni, Prithvi, Jal, and Akash. So these are, when you do this, it's interaction of these elements. So when you do this, this one is Gyan Mudra, the one which Rishi Munis do. This one. This is basically your index finger and your thumb, right? And you don't spread it like this, you do it like this. Or you could do the energizing one, which is known as Pran Mudra. What do? You simply keep it on your lap. That's it. And then you can engage into pranayamas. Now, there are variety of pranayamas. There are certain pranayamas which hypertensive patients should not be doing. Menstruating ladies should not be doing. And I'm very happy that you asked this question, because many people think that we should be doing Brahmari. It's a very, very good pranayama, because it basically opens your entire parasympathetic nervous system and otherwise also. But whenever ladies are menstruating, those 5 or 7 or 3 days, they should avoid doing it, because this is the system which is activated. It is controlling the release of hormones at that point of time. So you shouldn't be messing it up at that point of time. So you shouldn't be doing. Then there is Kapalbhati, which is very, very famous, which is an energizer. We say that it basically invokes the Kundalini, which is basically a serpentine shaped energy, which is primarily based at the base. And that base chakra is known as Mooladhara chakra, the base of our spine at the back. But then Kapalbhati shouldn't be done by people who have digestive issues like hernia, or have had a recent surgical operation, or they are having some cardiac issues, like, for example, MI or some stent in your heart, or those kind of things. You should avoid doing this. So then what can people who have different kind of disorders, what can they do? Is there any particular kind of pranayama? Yes. That is known as Anulom Vilom, which is also known as alternate breathing in English. So you can do that. You can engage in that. Just remember that if you are a woman, you start breathing from your left side, the left side of your nostril. If you are a man, you start breathing from your right side of your nostril, and the other opposite side is blocked. It's because we have three important nadis, the Ida, Pingla, and the Sushmana. The Sushmana has Kundalini inside it, the Ida and Pingla. And the one of these nadis is controlling the masculine features in us. The other one is controlling the feminine features in us. All of us have both features, but our physiology is different. As a woman, my physiology is female. As a man, the physiology inside is male. So therefore, males must basically first inhale from the right and block the left. Women should first inhale from left and block the right. That's the way to do it. Rest all other pranayamas, whichever pranayamas are there, one needs to go through the contraindications and then only practice it. I would request everybody, do not fall prey and trap to these kind of things that everybody practices all kind of pranayamas. No, all of us have different body physiology inside. So you will not receive size 44 size, and it's not customized as per your shoulder and chest. So every pranayama has to need to understand you what Jyoti can do for 5 minutes, I may probably be required to do for 7 minutes.
Okay.
Or maybe somebody else needs to do it only for 3 minutes. And that is how it is. But having said this, yoga has scope for everybody. So advice is, please do consult an expert to receive maximum amount of benefit.
Yeah, definitely a coach can be a guide to put us on the right track. Yeah, especially the techniques and all that, and loads of asanas you have mentioned, Shipra, insightful. So I know these are very good, which you have recommended and all of that. Let's little deep dive. Why yoga only?
Yes, I think this is a pertinent question, and it relates to the name of my organization, Breathe to Live also. So we are basically saying, if you want to live, breathe. If you want to live, breathe. What we're not saying there is breathe right, breathe correctly. So breath is basically oxygen, as you put it in a very layman terms. In yoga, we call it pranavayu. And as per yogic and pranic ways, we basically all the 5 pranavayus and all put together, there's an umbrella term, we call it pranavayu. Otherwise, there are different kind of vayus there, which are basically controlling the energy flow inside our body. Prana is nothing but the energy flow in our body. The moment that flow of energy is obstructed anywhere, you get a disorder. Right? So why have I got cancer? Because there was obstruction of a particular set of energy, I got cancer. I got kidney stones because of that. I got hernia because of that. I got heart disease because of that. So you will ask, don't you think there are other trigger factors? Of course, there are a lot of trigger factors. But what are they leading to? They are leading to the obstruction. Imagine this: as you go to your wash basin, you open the tap, and the water supply is coming through a channel of tubes. If there's some kind of clogging or some kind of garbage or some kind of kachra somewhere, what is going to happen? Will you get a nice supply of water? No, it will be broken. It will be feeble. That is how it is. The feeble the energy flow inside your body, the more disposed you are to get disorders. So why yoga? Yoga is the only scientific methodology which is now being definitely researched, which says that there are 72,000 channels in our body that are carrying energy. And yoga is primarily the mother and the genesis of all the physical activities. So whenever I tell people about this, they're pretty much surprised. They say, ma'am, Is calisthenics also part of yoga? When I look at different kind of asanas that we have, don't you see calisthenics there? Then somebody says Pilates, acha. Then somebody says, ma'am, this particular kind of a position, that is dandasana in yoga. Then nowadays, many people have become certified, and since I'm a trainer also, as you know, that in behavioral and soft skills arena.
Right.
So people say neuro-linguistic programming. I said, okay, that is called dhyana in yoga. And then they said, okay, mindfulness. Well, please do not give fancy names. We already have all these things in mind. So
Right.
yoga is such a comprehensive science, which is basically taking care of your not only physical health, but the internal physiology, health of your organ systems, your body, your mind, and your soul.
Yeah.
And which is very important. And that is why you wear under, on this earth, under one roof or umbrella, you will get something which can take care of all these things at a very same time.
Yeah.
So therefore, why invest your energies in a diversified areas? Of course, if you love doing something else, please do it. Don't stop it. But invest some time here. That's why you.
Okay. Very interesting one, Shipra. So Shipra, as you said, this is mother of all Genesis. So that means, are there any stages also in yoga based on the age and gender? And how long do you recommend that we practice yoga? I believe as long we breathe, but then you as an expert, you could answer that.
So that's a very, very interesting, I would say, question, and a very pertinent one as well. So there are certain asanas and certain pranayamas, in fact, we do not do before we achieve a certain age of puberty, because then they play with our glands and hormones. Okay. So therefore, it is advised for certain pranayamas and asanas to begin only after you've achieved puberty. Nowadays, the age of puberty is basically achieving the sexual reproduction capacity. And nowadays, that sexual reproduction capacity has considerably come down, both for males and females. Earlier, it used to be 13 and 15 primarily. Nowadays, it is 13 basically for girls and 15 primarily for boys. Nowadays, it has been noticed all because of changes and the lifestyle and the different kind of chemical-based foods that we are consuming. That has led to the puberty age coming down for girls to 10, 11 on an average. And for boys also, it has come down to 13.5 to 14. Okay. So therefore, we must, like for certain asanas and for certain pranayamas, we shouldn't be practicing it. That's why I'm emphasizing we should always go to a yoga practitioner, a coach who can advise us specifically. I strongly advise people to simply, opening up Google, LinkedIn, and say, okay, I will do this asana because it give me this kind of benefits. No, do not fall prey and trap to such kind of things because it may cause you more harm. That is about this thing. Now, when to start? As early as you can start. And a good age to start is as early as 5 or 6 years of age. Oh, okay. And till what time can I do it? Till the time you're alive on this planet, you can do it. Till the time your body allows you to do it, and do it. Okay. Secondly, in yoga, we've got different kind of, not levels, but I'll put it this way. You've got hatha yoga. So when you say hatha yoga, you have a lot of body-based, I would say, asanas. What is asana? An asana is nothing but a posture or a position of a body. An asana is nothing but a posture or a position of a body where you're utilizing your limbs. And we have 4 limbs. We've got 2 arms and we've got 2 legs. Limbs. Utilizing them, and then of course you've got your head and neck also to go along with it. This is basically known as asana. And that is how you go about doing. Now that is hatha yoga. Yeah. So pranayama. So prana is basically pranavayu. I already explained that there is basically energy is known as pranavayu, which is basically of 5 types in our body. There are 5 kinds of prana, and the umbrella term is pranavayu. Ayam is the dimension. So pranayama is basically the dimensions of pranavayu and how do you channelize the pranavayu. To channelize pranavayu, you need to basically control and take measured breaths. Because breath is the biggest source of energy. And there are various other sources of energy. What are other sources of energy? Food. Second, sun. So these are the sources of energy. Third, love, affection from our family members, friends. They are also sources of energy. So, but the biggest source of energy for us to be alive is what? It is breath. Why breath? If today, if you are unable to, sit in sun for 6 months, will you be alive? Yes, you would. Yeah. Maybe your mood will not be that, cheerful, but you will be alive. If I don't give you food for 10 days, will you be dead? No. You will start losing weight, right? Because body will extract nutrition from your fat reserves, but you will not be dead. You will be alive. Is that correct? Right. If nobody loves you, you would still be alive. But if I tell you a small experiment right now, I said, take a breath and then stop breathing and do this. And don't breathe. After 40 seconds or 35 seconds or after 1 minute, or maybe if you can control for 1.5 minutes, you say, oh no, I need. Now that is known as, that is the importance of breath. So pranayama is one
do for 20 seconds also. So
if I tell you all the physical aspects are hatha yoga. The aspects concerned with the pranavayu is basically pranayam. When you combine pranayam and the asanas and the mudra, that is the play of fingers, that is the elements, and then you sit together and you focus your mind here, which is basically the Agna chakra, which you call the third eye chakra, and then you try to concentrate and meditate, then you're going to be position of dhyana. Now that is dhyana. So these are the different ways. Now, as such, there are no levels as such. Anybody can do all these things, except whenever you are practicing hatha yoga, you should always, basically, energize yourself. As they say, whenever you want to run, you must first flex your muscles. You must slightly loosen your muscles and joints, because if you immediately run like that, you will have sore muscles. You will have pain inside your body. That is known as Upa Yoga. So Upa Yoga has certain levels. Upa Yoga level 1, beginners kind of level. So Upa Yoga level 2 is a slightly higher level. Upa Yoga level 3, advanced level. So if you are at that level, you will be able to do advanced kind of hatha yogas, asanas, like, the one which is the peacock pose, where you're basically balancing on your palms and your body is totally, vertical parallel. So not vertical, horizontally parallel to the ground. It requires a lot of strength here, and you cannot do it all out of the blue. For it, you need to build in that kind of muscle strength, which builds in slowly. Then you've got Kapotasana. So these are difficult kind of hatha yoga asanas. The easy ones, hatha yoga asanas, are ones where you become, a Tadasana, where you basically, raise your hands like this and you're standing on your feet or on your toes, and maybe you raise your one leg and you bring it closer to your thigh. So these are the easier ones. So depending upon the ease, we have certain kind of asanas. I will not call them levels. And as the difficulty goes, then you will have different kind of asanas or higher level of hatha yoga. That is how it is.
Interesting ones, and you loads of asanas you mentioned, I've already made 20, 30 list here already. So with that note, Shipra, are there any asanas for stress relief specific and which will boost confidence for people?
So whenever people ask me, I have XYZ issue or ABC issue, I tell them, I don't want to give you some kind of a prescription. I will give you the mother of all asanas. Like yoga is the mother and the genesis of all activities. So mother of all asanas. They said, is there? I said, yes. So it's like an anecdote, it's like a Ramban for all the disease, and that's Surya Namaskar. Because it is the best form of combination of various kind of stretches. And when you do all kind of stretches put together back to back, it becomes a dynamic stretch. What is the meaning of a dynamic stretch? There is something known as a static stretch and a dynamic stretch. A static stretch is you stretch a certain set of a muscle and you stay in that position for 2 to 5 to 10 seconds and then it's over. A dynamic is you did a stretch, you are in that particular position and immediately you went into a different stretch. You are not allowing yourself any kind of time. So it is like something which is going on and on, like a cycle. So that is known as a dynamic stretch. So for Surya Namaskar can give you multiple benefits provided the way you do it. If you want to do it as something which is more of a cardiovascular activity, what do we mean by cardiovascular activity? Your heartbeat goes high. You want to do it something which basically burns your calories. You are not a person who likes running. You're not a person who likes jogging. You're not a person, you don't have an area to do brisk walking. You don't like cycling. You are not into cricket or tennis. It is raining outside, so you can't do it. But still you want to burn the fat, the obesity, and still you want to sweat. You don't have a treadmill. You can't go to gym. Then do Surya Namaskar. Back to back. What is back to back? There are 12 asanas in Surya Namaskar. It's known as sun salutation. So from the first till the 12th, do not stay in that position even for 1 second. Do it, change, do, change, do, change. And when you go on doing like this for a certain period of time, which is 30 minutes, I'm giving you the time span also, 30 minutes. The amount of calories which you will burn is highest as compared to any 30 minutes of high-powered cardiovascular activity. Any cardiovascular activity, you try and compare the amount of calories you burn, it is high for Surya Namaskar. So that is one. So much of calories you have burned, you've toned your body muscles. Second thing is you are toning all the muscles in your body, all the muscles, whatever muscles, the shoulders, the back, arms, the ankles, the wrist, the abdomen, the hips, the inner abdomen, the inner thighs, the outer thighs, the calf muscles, and the toes, and the neck. So all muscles are covered. Second, all organs are covered. All organs get internal massage. So whether it's your kidney, whether it's your heart, whether it's your liver, spleen, your urinogenital system, everything, your lungs, they get a massage from inside. It improves blood circulation. So when whatever disease you have, if you do Surya Namaskar on daily basis, it is going to take away your disorders. And I am not ashamed, and anybody can come and sue me if you're practicing this correctly and you're not cured of your disease fully, because yoga means not symptomatic treatment. It basically believes in attacking at a problem at its root level and cause. And what is the root cause of all diseases in the human body? I just told you, it is obstruction in the energy channels and the chakra. So if you want to remove all that garbage, the blockages, the obstruction, you do Surya Namaskar. Now the pertinent question would be how much of Surya Namaskar per day? So the minimum which you should be doing to getting benefits on daily basis is basically 12 Surya Namaskar. Now what is 12 Surya Namaskar? It is basically 6 Surya Namaskar sets. What is 6 Surya Namaskar? One cycle basically using your left leg where you bend your left leg, and the other cycle where you basically bend your right leg. That becomes one particular set. Right and left put together, that is one set. If you are a beginner, you start with 2. What is 2? I'm saying one set only. One set comprising of 2. One from the left, one from the right. Then as you build in that kind of practice, then you go to 4. Then you go to 6, then you go to 8, then you come to 12. So 12 Surya Namaskar is basically 6 sets, is going to take you not more than 10 minutes. Do not worry that you are unable to put your palms firmly on the ground like this. There are a lot of people think that I will bend my knees and then I will, touch the ground like this. No problem. Even if you're only able to touch it like this through fingers, or maybe your fingers are too, like your hand is too high as per to the ground, do not bend your knees. The process needs to be correct. That is why I'm saying get the right process from a coach. Like Baba Ramdev has really popularized it, but many times he bends his knees. So what happens? Because so many people love him and he's got followers, so everybody is bending the knees. So if you do the process incorrectly, you get zero benefit. People come and tell me, I've been doing Anulom Vilom for last 20 years. And then I have hypertension and I have diabetes. I said, Anulom Vilom for 20 years, you still have this. That means you're not doing it properly. And when I find out, when I tell them, and they are saying, I breathe from any nose I start. I said, you are a man, you should have started breathing from your right. And they were not even aware. And they're not even aware how much of, time they must take to breathe in, to hold, and to breathe out. There's a particular ratio in pranayama. And nobody has taught that ratio because people withhold information. And that is why nobody is benefiting. And that is the reason. So for all diseases, all disorders, you wanted a specific answer. I did not specifically point out because I believe our listeners would be interested. I have this disease, Shipra, tell me for this. I have this, Shipra, tell me for this. And believe us that the yoga has got asanas for all disorders, literally, all disorders. But I am giving you one which is a generalized one, and everybody can do it. And everybody can do it. Just a word of caution: if you are hypertensive, if you have high blood pressure, if you have some issues with your back, then just consult with your doctor. I would be bending this much. How much can I bend? Am I allowed to do this much kind of bend? Please, 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 please consult. And do not do that cardiovascular type of Surya Namaskar. Do every asana, stay in that position for 2 to 4 seconds. Slowly you do it. But it's going to be very, very beneficial for you. Ladies, if you have menstrual issues, it will be resolved. Men, if you've got prostate issues, it will be resolved. Other people, if you've got thyroid issues, it will be resolved. If you've got a lot of fat here, you do not have, your belly pot-bellied, it is going to be resolved. If you have a lot of hair fall issues, it's going to be resolved. If you're having a lot of pimples, it is going to be resolved. If you've got a lot of fat here, bat wings, it is going to be resolved. How much time? It will depend how much your body needs, what kind of conditioning your body needs. Start with 12. If you can take it up, take it to 24 or 36 per day. It's good enough. How many times a day? Once is sufficient. When you should be doing it, either you should be doing it in this at the sunrise time, facing towards the sun, or you should do it before sunset in the evening, facing towards the sun, towards in the west side. That is how it is. You do not do Surya Namaskar after the sun is set. That is something which is wrong, totally wrong. That is how you are supposed to do Surya Namaskar. When you do Surya Namaskar, your stomach should be empty. There should be no food in your stomach. So if you're planning to do it in the evening, make sure there is at least 3 to 3.5 hours of gap of which you have taken from the food to this. If you had food and then you had a cup of coffee, which is milk based, and you had some 2 cookies also, then that is considered as a snack. Then that is a snack. Then again, a gap of 2 to 2.5 hours. If you had some juice, say some nariyal pani or some like lime water, nimbu pani, or maybe something else, coffee shake, I've already said, because it's milk. So if anything which is milk based, it becomes a snack. But anything which is water based, like a fruit juice or a fruit smoothie, then again a gap of 1 to 1.5 hours.
Makes sense.
Please be advised, everybody, no asana, no pranayam is done with food in your stomach. The stomach needs to be empty.
Interesting, Shipra. If you had seen me last 5 months before, I was not like this. I've been transformed. by doing Surya Namaskar as well as the nutritional diet which I'm following. And I can say I am able to do only 4 sets, not more than that, But yes, as you told, I started with 2 and I thought 1 set actually. And is that all I can do? Now I can say I'm able to do 4. I don't know, like 24, 36, I don't know when, but yeah, that's the one asana which has helped me a lot, I can say, Shipra. So
Yeah,
so
so basically it is not one asana, it is series of asanas. Like
uh,
if you've got Ashwa Sanchalan asana, you've got Parvatarohan asana, you've got Bhujanga asana. So it's basically a combination of 8 asanas because there are certain asanas which are repeated in it.
right,
The first 2 asanas are repeated at the end also.
and
So
also,
these
yeah.
are the set of 8 asanas and which have got certain mantras also along with it. If you are a very pious person who's into the religious connotation, if you want to recite those mantras, you can do
Yeah.
that also. If you
Yeah.
don't want to recite mantras, it's again, of course, it's going to give you benefits. And I'm
Yeah.
happy to see that you're acknowledging that you've had that beautiful change in you.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm feeling proud and energized when I'm saying that also. So you beautifully laid out the whole asanas and the benefits what we get and the kind of healing it does for us, Shipra. But then I'm also curious to know what are the challenges, when we practice this, which we need to be aware while we pursue yoga.
I think I specifically mentioned because there are certain contraindications for
Yeah.
certain asanas.
Right.
And for that, we need to understand what is the physiology of the person.
Okay.
Does the person have certain kind of some diseases, some kind of issues? So that needs to be taken care of before advising everybody to. That is why I did not advise any asana. I
Right. Right.
specifically spoke only about Surya Namaskar. And
True.
for that also, again, I gave a small advice that if you're hypertensive, if you're a
Yeah.
cardiac patient, or if you have back issues or some issues related with your, I would say, muscles or joints, you must first consult your
Yeah.
doctor. Because
Okay.
if you foolishly do certain things, it
Hmm.
is going to not, benefit you. It is going to harm you.
Hamas
That is
only.
one thing which is very important.
Yeah.
One needs to be taken care of. And as I said about asanas, I also spoke about the stomach needs to be empty
Right.
because if you're doing all these kind of things, certain people they feel vertigo, they feel nauseous, they feel as if they'll fall down unconscious
Hmm.
and those kind of things. So vertigo in these basically chakarana, those kind of things. So that is why I advised that this
Okay.
shouldn't be practiced
Sure.
and be very strict about it, be very
Hmm.
strict about it, that okay, I've eaten food, so what I can do it. You don't know what is happening to you, your body is crying from inside it
Ah. Yeah.
because
That
all
gives
your
us a lot of
digestive
signals.
juices go haywire here and there. You
Hmm.
don't know, you are trying to do every kind of nonsense with your body. And whatever you are facing today, when people tell me na, pata nahi kya ho gaya, isko disease ho gaya, I said usko khud ke wajah se hi ho gaya disease. They said, how can you be so rude? I said, what rude? It is khud se hi ho gaya hai. Then they say same kind of environment, same kind of food. What people don't realize is even siblings are different from each other.
Yes.
Actually, our physiology is different. I am born with A, B, C, D kind of, genetic setup. My
Hmm.
sister is born with B, C, D, A. So
Hmm.
probably B, C, D is a stronger one as compared to A, B, C, D.
Hmm.
Anything goes wrong inside me, A, B, C, D falls sick. And D, B,
Hmm.
C, A doesn't fall sick. It's because of that. Can you change that? Do I have control on that? No.
No.
She has control? No. What can you do? You can only maximize the benefits to your body
Hmm.
and minimize the harm to your body.
Right.
But we don't care and we say भगवान की मर्जी उसको disease हो गई. ऐसे भगवान की मर्जी नहीं, आधी मर्जी आपकी चल रही है इसमें. That is why you've got the disease.
Well laid out, Shipra. Shipra, I know that you run that Breathe to Leave initiative, and that's your company. And the mission is very interesting. I really liked when I went through your website. You say maximize potential and optimize the systems, So any tips and tricks which will help people to continue yoga and not panic about it?
So first thing is this, that just sit in Sukhasana
Okay.
and be close to nature and feel good about it.
Uh-huh.
Nowadays, it's raining everywhere. So many times we do get a lot of time to sit, gaze the stars, just sitting in Sukhasana. Keep your spine straight, because that is the biggest challenge. I always tell people, if you cannot do anything, keep your spine straight. And people say, how can I keep my spine straight? And I tend to slump like this. Then I say, use a backrest. Use a backrest. Sit on a chair which has got a backrest. Use a cushion. Use a hard cushion. But keep your spine straight. Start practicing it. First day, keep your spine straight with the help of the cushion for 10 minutes. Continue doing it, continue, and just sit in Sukhasana. Can't sit in Sukhasana, keep your feet grounded on the floor. Try walking barefooted. In villages, have you seen people walk barefooted and nothing happens to them?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of energy, negative energy, which goes back. Mother Earth takes it away from you. We are always wearing shoes and very tight shoes, and ladies are wearing heels, all the time stressing your body.
They're wearing chappals at home also.
Yeah, and your poor ankle is crying all the time. Don't give me that kind of stupid pressure. What is like this, all the time you're walking like this, that's not good. And then you say, why do I have this problem in my calf muscles? Because you have the stupidest thing of all. And now you want to say that why it is happening to me. It is happening because of you. That's why I tell people. So my tip is this: simply be close to nature. And at least once in a week or once in 10 days, go slow on food. Just drink water, lots of water, maybe some juice, maybe some vegetable smoothies, because your digestive system also needs some kind of break. You're not giving any kind of a hogging, eating all the time. And then urban level, our habits are, very poor. After I had lunch, half an hour, this is the time to have nice tea and coffee, because you feel sleepy, so you want to have tea and coffee. Then after 1.5 hours, okay, nice time to have pakoda and some chips and, maybe some cookie or something. Right. And then you have, okay, then let's have some starter, some hara bhara kebab and soup. And then your dinner comes and it's okay, let me have some dessert and some gulab jamun or some ice cream. What the hell are you doing? And then, okay, it's time for it. Let me have one more cup of coffee. Your poor digestive system is under stress, overworking. It's like an overworking employee. And that is why you have a problem. So most of the nutrition is not assimilated. It goes in the shit, in the fecal system. You throw it out. Nothing comes to you. Nothing comes to you. So the second advice is, the first is be close to nature. The third is try and sit in Sukhasana and keep your spine straight as much as you can throughout the day. When you're standing, keep your spine straight. When you're walking, keep your spine straight. When you're sitting, consciously attempt to do that. You'll start feeling better. Right. Because I've seen many times when people are standing and they hop like this. They become like this. Or they hold a table, or they are near the wall and they're clinging to the wall. This itself is an inclination that your body is not fit to carry your own weight. True. This should be an indication to you. It's a warning sign. 2 minutes also you cannot stand and you limp like this. That means you're in a very bad shape. You may not like my words, but you're in a bad shape. You better correct it now. And the third thing which I said was, go slow on your food. Once in every 7 days or 10 days, drink only juices or water throughout the day. And you're not going to die. You have my word for it. You will not be a dead person. You'll not. You are breathing. That will keep you alive. Do that. Go, barefoot. Try and walking barefoot, particularly in the morning hours, in the wee hours. Try and get up early. All those people who are basically, I would say night birds, night angels, try and change your habits. Break your old habits and, build in new habits. If you do not break your old habits, you will have old results only with you. Your better new results will come with new habits only. You got to break them. If
Yeah.
you want to have a new habit, practice it minimum for 21 days, another cycle 21 days, another cycle 21 days, which is
Mm.
60, which is basically 21 plus 21 plus 21,
63.
which is basically 63.
Mm.
63 days, if you do something consistently, you have an amazing habit with you
Mm.
and it's going to stay with you. And there's a specific period called Mandala period. That's a period of 41 days.
Oh,
It's basically an incubation period. Like whenever a new child is born, don't we say 40 days, we will do massage and all. And then after 40th, 41st day, then there
yeah.
will be a special puja and ceremony. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. So 41 days, if you are able to cross and be consistent with your practice,
Mm.
then you have already reached halfway.
Mm.
63 days, if you achieve it, and you tell yourself, how do you tell yourself? Set a timer, motivate yourself, present yourself, gift yourself, tell yourself, look into me, yes, I have done it.
Mm.
Appreciate yourself, put it in your WhatsApp status. I want to inform everybody I've been doing this for the last 15 days. Show that victory sign. So the next time, you will be, motivated to do it because you're telling it to everybody. And
Yeah.
now if you don't do it, you've got some kind of pressure on you, a good one, that I have to do it. So these are the things which you can follow. And then avoid eating sweets.
Oh,
That's my last. This.
okay.
Bring it
Loads.
down as
I
much as
know.
you can.
Yeah,
But if
loads
you're
and
craving for sweet, invest in dates, which we call khajur in Hindi.
yeah.
And they're very good in iron and certain other nutritions. 3 or 4, if you're very, very like you're having cravings, you can do that. Wherever you use sugar, start using jaggery. That is good. And honey.
Oh,
Substitute it.
okay.
And you will see the difference in yourself.
Hmm. Loads and loads of value to my listeners on how to keep themselves benefited with yoga, and a lot of insights, Shipra. So, ladies and gentlemen, all the links and the resources which we have discussed in this episode will be made available in my show notes page of my podcast, Stars of Learning, and also on my website, prajvitaknowledge.com. That is PRAJVITA knowledge.com. Do check the description box. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shipra, for being on this show. It was so energizer and loads of insight listening to you. And I'm glad we discussed this topic. It's so simple things which you taught us, and loads of things I learned from this conversation. One is the stress, which is one of the leading cause of disease. And in parallel, I learned yoga is one of the, biggest uh, stress buster, which we can practice it every day. And I also understand from our discussion that the prolonged exposures to stress will get into the chronic diseases. And the
Yes.
techniques what all you have shared has been fantabulous: physical, mental, emotional, and how you laid them. And the three things were like great takeaway. One is acceptance, emotional, and action. Action is something people forget these days. They know all, they learn everything, but application is something very, very important. And yoga is the remedy for not only for our physical, emotional, mind, soul is also, you mentioned, for
Yes.
complete peace and mindfulness. And it creates a balance, is what you mentioned, in all aspects. And to de-stress, either you stress or de-stress, then we have to be rejuvenated every day. Then yoga is the way. And loads of asanas which you have taught. And the biggest source is breathing, and how we apply that. And a lot of tips which you gave us on the detox part and the habit part, and the mandala, very, very insightful. And I also want my listeners to consciously look at what's your stresses. Is it a perception based or something like, is it beyond your control? So, what's in your control is what you need to work on. Not in your control, knock it off from your mind to have a stress-free life. Really grateful of sharing all of those insights, Shipra. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and namaskar, everybody. And I hope that we are blessed with peace, harmony, joy, and prosperity. And basically, the best of all health always, everybody. Thank you so much.
Sure. I'm grateful, Shipra, for this amazing insight. Thanks once again. It was really a wonderful energizer having you on my show. So, friends, I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Shipra. So, make mind to start yoga. And she did give a great tip on Surya Namaskar. And, 12 sets is what she says, practice every day. And many other asanas, which she has mentioned, you will definitely see the benefit, not immediately, but at a later stage. It will yield result for you. And if you've got any learning or motivated hearing to her, do tag Shipra and myself and post it on social media handles on what you learned, as this will help many others to engage, enlighten, and empower. And that's the mission of my podcast. So, by the way, I'm always grateful to all my lovely listeners who tunes in to listen, subscribe, and leave a review on iTunes. If you have not done that yet, that would mean a world to me. So please head over to iTunes or YouTube or any app that you are listening to and take a minute to write, as this will help my podcast to grow. And I really appreciate your support. Once again, thank you so much, friends, for tuning in till now. Bye for now. Take good care of yourself. Be safe and do something engaging, enlightening, and empowering. Thank you.